my friends. Welcome. This is Archangel. So I did a video about disarming females of one of their most potent male manipulators, sexuality. I mentioned that by dethroning female anatomy from a place of worship and enigma to a platform where their genitalia is commonplace and ubiquitous in its exposure, males would thus become desensitized to it and less impressed. Or, at the very least, males might experience less frenzied excitation surrounding female genitalia, which would lead males to really question female contributions of anything beyond sex or baby-making services. Indeed, if females were allowed to go topless everywhere males are, the holy divinity of breasts would lose their luster, and eventually guys would no longer froth at the mouth when exposed to them. This would empower males to make more logical choices. Well, how about vaginal desensitization? You see, males want to believe in fairy dust and enigma when it comes to females. Males will pretend that everything females have or do as being exalted and mysterious. I remember when I was young, I thought cars moved by magic, and this engine thing that Dad kept talking about was a mystery of the universe that caused me awe and wonder. Then, when I learned about the workings of the internal combustion engine, mystery was replaced with commonality and monotony, especially when I had to fix my own stuff. Engines were not nearly so exciting as they had been to my wondrous 6-year-old mind. Males see female genitalia in the same way. Oh, it's some grand mystery, the workings of which man-apes could never understand. Males do, I believe deep down, realize that female anatomy is non-magical, but they do not want to know too much about vagina, as that will render their holy altar a monotonous body part, and this will kill the party. Instead, they want to pretend that vagina is a special, mystical Ark of the Covenant. Most males worship vagina. In fact, that's the first tenet of gynocentrism, vagina worship. But do most pawns really get a clear picture of the body part they prostrate themselves before? Unless they are downtown, tongue deep in cooch pudding, most males really never see the vagina or study it, or its myriad shapes, aside from observing it in forays into porn. Many males will say they worship vagina, yet I have heard many a chest-thumping white knight admit the old bearded clam is not very attractive. I see. So you guys worship an ugly god. Oh, but manginas aplenty will say how beautiful the female body is. Yeah, well, you know what? Those roast beef curtains are part of the goddess package that males worship with their lives. Yeah, and everybody propagandizes male genitalia as disgusting and unattractive. They are both interestingly fashioned reproductive items. Yet there is a reason the popular phrase for sex is bumping uglies, not ugly penis bumping beautiful, gorgeous, awe-inspiring vagina. But you see, most males do not want to know the stark, funky truth about the fur burger they prostrate themselves before. Most males do not get up close and personal with the whisker biscuit, because really, during sex, it is in use, and he watches her cute face, or fondles her breasts, or yanks her hair doggy-style over the kitchen table. He simply feels for wet and warm, and he's off to the races. But males need to be acquainted with vagina in reality, not vagina as he has it in his head, in order to break this mystical, magical enigma he pretends vagina is. Then, when commonality is attained, and he can truly observe this holy, exalted bubblegum by the bum for the organ that it truly is, then he might be empowered to make more logical decisions without being under duress of the pixie sprinkle and fairy dust he pretends the cucumber canal is. Young males especially need to be schooled in the reality of vagina, not its elevation and worship upon pedestals. They need an educational course in the Republic of Labia. There's a doctor I know from my gym, and he has told me about his short stint in gynecology after his residency. Of course, when I learned that little tidbit, I sarcastically jabbed, "Wow, that must be a dream job, staring at sausage wallets all day." He gave me this disgusted look. The same look that you might give someone who forced you to eat cat turds, then cheerfully asks, "How did that taste?" Every time I want a good laugh, I chide him about his gynecological days, and I always get the same sucking on sour lemons face from him. It is too funny. Not surprisingly, I have received this same reaction from other straight male doctors as well in regards to anything gynecological. In fact, I remember reading that in the Middle Ages, male gynecologists did everything by touch. They did not want to observe the vagina, which I believe was on religious grounds, but still, I don't think they had Vagisil back then. So, we plugged all this information into the think tanks here at Liberation Y and have come to a consensus. Compelling males into gynecological studies or offices as part of sex education would be pertinent to male empowerment. It would be like a gyno internship. It's all part of the desexualization phase of male empowerment. You see, young males under duress of heightened hormones and awakening sexual urges think that vaginas are wondrous folds of golden divinity. But for their own good, we need them to see the reality of vertical smile placation. Sure, when females are young and pre-motherhood or pre-sexual encounters, the snake charmer is tight and firm and fairly pleasant aesthetically. However, males need to know that this will absolutely change, and thus males need to observe a sloppy, worn-out pink turtleneck. When males are exposed to a variety of tuna pot pies, everything from old ladies with wrinkled up meat curtains to road hard put up wet crotch waffles to the stretched out taco salad that happens after childbirth to the overgrown tomato patch of girl next door types. Hence, maybe males will begin to see vagina as it truly is in the real world, not in porn or on supermodels who have had lobster pot rejuvenation surgery. Moreover, I think males need to see childbirth, and thus see these holy baloney flaps stretched out during the birthing process. I remember watching a natural childbirth on Nova or some Discovery Channel show one time, and when the head started coming out, it seriously looked like she was taking a Guinness World Record poop. And it's hard to pretend that the fish mitten is some tight little holy grail after seeing it stretched out enough to provide semi-parking at rest stops. Males need to realize reality, that after childbirth, no matter how many Kegels or tightening surgeries are done, something is lost, and the magical pastrami smuggler will never be the same. Males like to picture the Johnson socket as being a nice, tight, 2-lane country road, but after many kids or many well-endowed boyfriends, that cozy 2-lane country road has turned into an 8-lane interstate. If males could observe the actual anatomical structure free from pomp and exalted enigma and see the clam hamper from the less exciting angles, this would demystify and desexualize the holy grail that males worship. If all males could see the pork pocket of everyday females, short, tall, skinny, obese, old, post-baby, infections, etc., I think most males would give the same sour face my doctor acquaintance will give me when I ask him to reminisce his gyno days. Now, males will sit and say, "I don't know what he's talking about. I'd love to be a gynecologist." I have heard countless males express this very sentiment. Yet, I don't really think they understand the overwhelming amount of buffalo stew they would really be in for. And hence, a gyno internship should be like required curriculum for males. Oh, males would still be attracted to females. They would still have sex, and it would still feel good. Usually. However, males would not be worshiping this organ as grand and exalted above their own. And for these serious manginas, we could set up emergency interventions, where we send males off to a vagina detox center, the gynecologist office, where they could get an intense observational course in funky foxholes. Males, if you worship vagina, then you should be well acquainted with your God, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When males truly observe the worshipped female anatomy, it will take away their enigma, and they will see that the engines are made up of parts, and cars are not moved by God's breath. Oh, I know, I'm being such a buzzkill to male fairy tales, and I'm just being a turkey hooch hater. Yet I am here to empower males, and desexualizing women will awaken males to females not as goddesses with divine chalices between their legs, but as mortal beings with scrambled eggs between their legs. I'm not here to slander vaginas, just to point out reality minus the golden goddess wrapping paper. We besmirch male genitalia with crude references all day, every day. Dick, prick, wiener, thingy, while we spare female anatomy negatory comedic usury. So yes, I am being irreverent. We need to render irreverent the reverence we have artificially bestowed upon this simple anatomical structure, which males abuse themselves and other males just to rent a few times in their pathetic, devalued lives. You see, simply using humorous slang has brought vaginas down from a pedestal and made them susceptible to jest, just like boogers or earwax. Now, inevitably, there will be many males who still worship vagina, no matter how many funky wizard sleeves they are exposed to. However, this represents them as simply disrespectful of their own anatomy, as they would stick their Johnson in an angry porcupine if it would hold still long enough. However, this would further empower most males. We mock males and their genitalia unceasingly, yet spare and worship female anatomy. Okay, well, you mindless pawns need to see and smell the organ you worship in all its different conditions. Then you'll marvel over how males spend so much precious time and talent chasing banana canyons. And you'll be dumbfounded that males worship and die subjugated to Chewbacca sleeves.
Chewbacca and Wookiees everywhere approved this message.
How did that taste? My friends, stand with me, live free. This video was brought to you by